TAVE KOSI, tender and rich lamb meat mixed with rice and topped up with a fluffy yogurt butter mix. I never had TAVE KOSI before, but that for sure sounds promising, so let's make some in this episode. All we need is some lamb meat, boneless lamb shoulder works great, some butter and olive oil, rice, flour, eggs and yogurt, preferably fatty Greek style. Start by cutting the lamb into approximately 3 cm or 1 inch thick pieces, and most importantly leave the fatty parts on, as they will add some of that distinctively delicious lamb taste to our TAVE KOSI. Follow up with peeling and slicing the garlic, and let's move over to the stove and start cooking. We will need a pan with a lid, which we place over medium-high heat, and drop some of that butter as well as olive oil in there. We want to sear that lamb for a few minutes, which will add more tasty flavors to the dish. So don't be an amateur like me and don't overcrowd the pan, or the lamb's juices will leak and prevent the Maillard reaction from doing its searing magic. It's not the end of the world if you mess it up though, your TAVE KOSI will still be tasty. Just add the garlic as well as half a teaspoon of dried oregano. Mix well, add 200 ml of hot water and let simmer over low heat for at least 45 minutes. Check in on your lamb every 15 minutes or so and make sure that it's not scorching. Eventually you will end up with only oily remains. Season with some salt and pepper, add the rice and give it a good mix. Pour some more water, approximately double the amount of the rice, in our case 60 ml, and let cook for around 6 to 8 minutes. The rice doesn't have to fully cook through, as it will do so later in the oven. By the way, oven, let's start preheating it to around 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit and place the baking sheet on the lowest level now. Line your oven-safe pan up, which should be around 18 cm or 7 inch in diameter. Give the lamb one last good mix and transfer into the oven pan. Spread it out evenly, especially the chunky pieces, for we want everyone to get an equal share when serving TAVE KOSI later on. By the way, your pan should be deep/high enough to carry at least double the amount of the lamb, for we will top it up with the butter, egg, yogurt mix, which we shall prepare next. So grab a big enough bowl, crack in the eggs and give them a short whisk before adding the Greek yogurt and whisking well till emulsified. We did this over the stove due to constraints at our filming set, but rest assured that our gas stove was off during this whole step. Next we will create some roux, for which we place our saucepan over medium-low heat, melt the remaining butter in it and sweat the flour. Make sure to add the flour in 2 to 3 batches in order to reduce the risk of lumps being formed. You want to end up with a not too runny nor too thick consistency, so add some more flour or butter if needed. Eventually it shall look something like this. Now let's turn our stove off again and slowly pour our roux into our egg yogurt bowl while speedy whisking it. Once emulsified, season to taste with salt and pepper and pour everything into the oven pan. Ideally, it should cover the lamb perfectly. And that's pretty much it. Spread some freshly grated nutmeg on top, transfer into the oven and let cook for around 45 minutes. We checked on our TAVE KOSI every 15 minutes, watched it rise nicely and took it out after approximately 45 minutes when its top got nicely browned. Baking time can vary widely from oven to oven, so please monitor the process and you will be rewarded with this tasty beauty at last. Our TAVE KOSI recipe yields 2 big portions, but can easily be scaled up proportionally. In that case, just make sure to also use a bigger pan accordingly. Enjoy them rich and tender pieces of lamb as well as mild and fluffy chunks of yogurt butter eggs. Tbsp.
Is this lamb tender or what? Didn't have lamb in a while, this is just awesome.